bit of a bombshell coming out of Detroit. Is this I jumped or before I got pushed, or did you shove, or what? Stevie, why? The Yzerplan looks to be
extinct.
Yeah, it's in the past in Detroit.
Taken out of its misery.
Shut down.
So he's out, but he's still in. He's going to be.
He's got keys to the city. He's kind of godlike there.
Yeah, the shine might be coming off a bit, but
not for the everyday fan.
I think the fan will always adore the player, but the fans have had a tough time with the GM, safe to say.
The executive VP and general manager, Steve Yzerman, will no longer do that job, those duties. He will now be a senior advisor to the governor and CEO, Chris Ilitch, who, of course, a son of the owner, Mike, passed on. But
yeah, this is we're firing you into upper management, and because whatever you were trying to accomplish is not.
This is not going well. What do you want to do? I think was the conversation. What about this? How about you do this?
Yeah.
Are you surprised he's sticking around?
I am.
I don't think I think this is a title, and
you won't see him.
Cleaned out his office.
Yeah.
And this is a polite way to say you're fired.
But yeah, no, I believe that.
Like, I don't think he's going to be doing anything for them.
But my point being, he's going to go somewhere else and will want to work
at some point. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just surprised it wasn't just
maybe. I mean, to your point, like, what's he made?
And I don't know, because you just talked about our good friend Noodles.
Yep.
Yeah.
What does he not want to do?
Vacation.
Sit at the beach and relax. So Stevie Y could very well be of the same ilk. And there is an addiction to the NHL. For lack of a better word, and I can't even explain it, but
yeah. If
you're in the club, you're in the club.
But there's also, I'm 60.
Yeah.
I've done this for 40. I don't know how old he is. Like, at what point is it enough?
It was kind of like in Columbus when Mike Babcock's wife told him that he was really good at vacationing and being retired.
Yeah.
So I'll just go back to that, because this coaching staff isn't aligned.
So my expectation, would be, he works again, but if you've made that much money, you've had that much success.
How old are his kids?
You just basically got fired from your.
Yeah, like he's been fired and is staying on. Like, if you strip it all away, he strikes me as this is a guy who will probably want to work again. I mean, he's
okay. How's his resume then? And I'm actually.
I'll just finish my thought.
Sorry.
My thought with Detroit is, I wonder if it's the Red Wings saying, we'd like to not fire.
Yes.
Yep.
One of the greatest in our franchise history. Could just.
That's exactly what
we'll pay you for 6. When you get your next opportunity, by all means, you're free to go.
Yeah,
we would just not like to send out a press release where we have fired Steve Yzerman.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the same thing happened to Ron Francis. They said, oh, no, you're going to be a senior advisor now, or you're the president, or like just, you're fired up the org. You're not allowed to touch the GM buttons anymore.
Yeah, that's
what it is.
Happened 100%.
And if he wants to work again, he will. But to Rhett's point, like, is he going to step into a GM role, or does he have to come in as an AGM somewhere else because of how not well this went in Detroit?
I would expect he was pushed in that direction, but I also expect that he was probably like, upon open and honest conversation, well, the hell with it.
The other thing, like, he came into a huge amount of acclaim. Like, he got credited at the time with almost all of the successes the Tampa Bay Lightning had. And when there was tough spots, he somehow made incredible work out of them, i.e. the Marty St. Louis trade, i.e., the Sergachev swap, which I think was with Montreal. Like, he did really good. What happened under his watch in Tampa was phenomenal. So when Detroit got him, it was like, oh my God, like, you've landed one of the most highly prized GMs in the sport. And from that in 2019 to the way he's viewed now, it's been a steep decline in his GM brand, so to speak. And flip side, Brisebois in Tampa looks like, man, maybe he was behind the scenes doing a lot of and it's always collaborative, but his stock was so high.
I think the longer you do that job, the more there's going to be good trades, bad trades, good signings.
It's the mixed bag for sure.
Yeah.
It's just too much bad, not enough good in Detroit because.
But he's also been screwed by the lottery balls. He
Yeah.
hasn't had the benefit of the lottery ball.
No, and
all.
he did well in the drafts where he fell in the lottery. He just didn't ever move up in the lottery. But
I think
when you stand up and say we need better players and you're 8 years into your GM tenure, it's like, well, yeah, that's your job.
Yeah.
You're the guy that's supposed to get better players. You've been here almost a decade.
Yeah, I don't give him a passing grade at all, but I also
like if Connie's here in 6 years and they still haven't made the playoffs and there isn't a star and it's like we need to rebuild the rebuild. That's kind of what's happened in Detroit. You would hate to see it happen here. You don't want it to happen here. I don't think it's going to happen here. That's what happened there.
what is Detroit referred to as?
It's a hockey town
Oh, it's Hockey Town. Well, Hockey Town
and
means
Motown. and Motor City.
all of the above.
Yeah.
Holy, that's a lot of weight to carry all those names.
But yeah, I mean, he started back at the feet of the great Scotty Bowman. He learned from one of the best, and then moved on from Detroit to Tampa Bay. Was there for a long time. Started there in 2010-11, and then left at the end of the
2019
19
he
seasons.
comes
Yeah,
into
he was
Detroit.
there for a decade, and then much the same in Detroit.
That was a bombshell. That was like they did the Steve Yzerman thing to Kenny Holland at that point to get Stevie in.
Yeah.
And then Kenny worked for the league for a little bit and then went to Edmonton for 5 years.
I think some of the criticism too is, like you say, he didn't win the lotto ball. So maybe if you have some of the higher end players instead of Mo Sider or Lucas Raymond, or who are they're fine players,
Yeah,
but they aren't. Was how he then went and handled the contracts and the negotiations and some of the things with those players. They maybe aren't first overall, but you got them at 5 or 6 or 4. Those are your prized assets. You need to don't get too cute or too aggressive, and we're seeing with Verbeek, take care of the ones that you need to take care of. If you want to get, if you want to chisel a little bit, that's down the roster, down the line.
Don't chisel with your stars.
Yeah. And there's some thought that maybe that was part of it. But I did think of, again, part of the show, I thought of the working man.
I know. I thought of the working man yesterday as well.
I always think of the working man, people out there doing an honest, making an honest living, keeping us safe. But the working man's been part of the show.
Ha! Fellas! Red Bill.
$50. This should have happened in April, not July, but Yzerman has gone finally. The next GM cannot be one of his guys in Draper or Cleary. Need a younger guy who isn't out of touch. Yzerman is why he became a Wings fan, but bad GM, #Motor City.
$50.
And he's been on this for a while. He told us the Wings were going to collapse and fall out of a playoff spot, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like everything the working man feared has come to fruition this year.
But I think this is
got your
probably,
wish, working man.
he got his wish.
Yeah, and I would, the one thing I don't know that, like, certainly Pat Verbeek and Steve Yzerman would be general managers that do things similarly. That doesn't mean that Draper and Cleary would. They're understudies, but I mean, that would be to suggest, oh, well, Connie learned under Treliving, so they're going to do things the same way. No, they've gone about things very differently.
Is there any way that jealousy plays into Verbeek and Yzerman's approach? You know what I'm saying? Like Stevie Yzerman
Can't believe these guys are making this kind of money. Yeah.
Stud of stud in the NHL making $2 million.
I think
Now I
there's
got to
some-
pay this guy 15. What the are we talking?
and maybe it's not the numbers, but I think there's an ego piece. Like when you walk around Detroit and you're known as the captain,
Yeah.
and then the captain actually on the team is up, and it's like, who's going to be captain? Well, there's no one here that's good enough to be a captain, because I know what I was when I think there was a lot of friction between Larkin and Yzerman, 2 centers, both wearing the C, and Yzerman clearly being like, this isn't the level of a captain that we need to win a cup, and Larkin being like, can we just like put away this nonsense? Like, how are we not better? Like, why am I here 10 years as a Michigan guy and we haven't made the playoffs in 10 years?
It's like you say, it's so hard to know.
Yeah.
Larkin was there his whole career. Yzerman the same.
And
And whether or not it's because they were both captains, but I would think for Larkin, you get tired of not getting to the playoffs. And if you're sitting there and watching the moves that are being made, it's like, we're not closer.
You didn't need to sign Ben Sherratt twice on 2 bad deals.
But this leads into even more of my, does Yzerman have a chip on his shoulder towards Larkin? And I don't know if I'm wording this correctly, but Yzerman was unreal and the Wings sucked.
Yeah,
for
early in his
a
career.
long time.
Yeah.
Like not two, it's very similar to Larkin where they were shit, straight shit. And Yzerman was awesome. And he had to be going, what are we doing here? And then all of a sudden, I think it was when Scotty went there and started coaching. He got him to buy into let's win.
It might be that as much as the dollars for Yzerman to sit there across the table and say, so we're not making the playoffs and you want out.
Well,
I could have done. Do you know how long I had to wait? Do you know the kind of pain that I went through.
Do you know how we
And
got
I
out of
wasn't
the trough?
begging for
And
a
I never-
release.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy when you sort of listen to the insiders and talk to people around the org that things could have been smoother and better and more amicable between Larkin and Yzerman. And so the immediate follow-up is, does this change anything with Dylan Larkin or not? Is the horse already out of the barn, or was that the biggest issue, was that he didn't trust the
Well,
GM
you
to
wonder,
get them?
Well, I'm lying. Sorry, not to cut you off, but I was wrong. I thought they missed the playoffs all the time, but they did make it. They just didn't have much success.
they just
And
they
the
were
first
not
few years they didn't, I believe. It was
No,
he
he made
was
it.
in pretty
I was
quick.
Right
just
away?
was looking.
If you're the Detroit Red Wings, and whether it's Yzerman or not, you know what the offers are. And if
Yeah.
the offers are no good for Dylan Larkin, now granted, he's given you 4 teams to deal with, but if the offers are not going to make you better, and you're in a spot where we're just gonna have to trade this guy because he's not going to play. Well, what are our options? Big picture.
Mhm.
If it's a Yzerman, if we can change the GM and have a new kind of lease on life and a new path, does that maybe bring Dylan in because he's on a good contract?
Big
He's
time.
he's one of our best players, if not our best player.
Mhm.
We need him because if we lose this trade, it could be another 4 or 5 years. Now we're talking 20 years, or whatever it is, out of the playoffs.
And similarly, if Yzerman was hell-bent on getting a hockey trade done that helps his team this year, and another point of view
That's a
is we
different
need to
philosophy.
rebuild it, that might be the end of the line when the owner's like, look, you might think we can be a playoff team next year with a hockey trade, but what you're telling me is available in trade, I don't see it.
I'll bet you that's the conversation we're having is probably the one they all had, and this is how they came up with the outlets.
Yeah.
You're not close. Like
The,
we said,
their
it a
plan
bunch.
hasn't turned out. How are you going to deal with the Larkin thing? Well, that doesn't seem to be good. There's enough red flags where it's like, well, I'm not buying what you're selling anymore.
Yeah.
I think you've done an honest effort. It's
Yeah,
not a
you tried.
right.
There was sure a lot of people pointing towards Brendan Shanahan as a guy who could come in there. Now, again, it's a guy that played for the team and he's had success there. So is that good or bad? I don't know.
I would go outside of it.
I know.
If he wants to come in and be a part of a solution, sure. But
What do you mean part though?
well, I mean, like
Why
in,
would
in
he
Toronto,
accept
he
being
was
part?
well. A part might make you more money if you're the president of the Wings, and then
Yeah.
you slide a GM
I see.
underneath that's
What
a
has
little
he
more
done
modern.
that's-
I don't know.
Well,
It
he had the
depends how you
Shanna plan.
view.
There was the Yzer plan and he had the Shanna plan, if you remember.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anything with a
yeah.
plan at the end ain't gonna work.
He'd come in with one of those overhead projectors on a cart, like in school.
Yeah,
Could you
remember
just
the
pull
old-
down the whiteboard? Yeah, okay. So this was my Shanna plan. Yeah, I don't know, but there again, he's not going to come in to be an AGM or so I'll come in and run that place if you want.
Pronger sniffing. There,
Yeah,
I would
do-
go outside and get someone.
I would say this, at least with Shanahan, you've got a lot of in-industry experience. I don't feel the same way about Chris Pronger right now, who worked for the league, but like he doesn't have a decade of watching the inner workings of a club, right?
Pronger.
Not to say that everything went swimmingly with Shanahan in Toronto, it didn't, but he also had like 100-point teams for almost a decade. You know, it's not nothing.
It's not nothing. It's
It's not everything.
I'm not,
Part of the stink on Shanahan will be because it was Toronto.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you did that in Columbus or St. Louis or anywhere
it was
else, it'd be-
Toronto while he
Dude,
lived
think
in.
about
Yeah.
Dubas. He was tarred and feathered, and you look at him in Pittsburgh, like,
Yeah.
shit, he's actually
It's like,
probably
oh,
a
he
really
would-
good GM.
he ran that franchise for 10 years and they made the playoffs and they were okay. He would be at high on a lot of teams' lists. And I think teams have to look past the Toronto thing if that's a hang up. I don't know that it
I
should
don't
be.
think it's a hang up.
Yeah. Well, good luck to Detroit and the working man and everybody there.
I think the reality they probably have arrived at is that this 10-year rebuild needs to be rebuilt.
Yeah, this rebuild hasn't.
And that's happened in Anaheim. Like it was supposed to be Terry and Zegras and all these
Sam
other
Steele.
guys. Sam, like that was going to be, and they looked around and said, "Shit, like these are okay players, but this ain't a group." And now it's Seneca and Gauthier and Carlson and the big American defender whose name I always forget. Who's at the Olympics, Lacombe, like that, and Dostal. Like it was the second attempt at the rebuild that got Anaheim over the hump.
Yeah. And
Buffalo's done about 3
and
of them.
Carlson and Seneca were top 3 picks.
Yes, they had to
Which
get
Detroit
bad
never-
again and get back into the top of the draft.
Right?
And
Detroit hasn't had that.
yeah, they've had some 4, 5, 6s, and that isn't really the problem. Like when you look at what Stevie did, he didn't swing and miss with his top 10 picks. His problem was he blew his brains out on bad players in UFA.
Oh, that trade
And the trade wasn't good
awful.
with Falk. But like Ben Sherratt's like big lumbering D-man that you just know can't play well enough. Like, oof, you can't be. Like he blew his brains out on some really mediocre bottom half of the roster players. And then with the guys under team control, he's grinding you for every nickel. You're like, what?
I think the biggest message here is that Conroy better get off his ass and not screw this up, right? Like that's what Connie was at Lake George or wherever he is in New York on his yacht and motor boat, and he was thinking life is good. Jess, another pina colada over here. Stevie gets fired. He's like, oh, wait a minute. I better get to work here. It's a message sent, Conroy.
Not sure if that's.
You only got 7 years, Caddy.
That's not what you took out of
That's not what I got, but it's in the eye of the beholder. I mean, they've not drafted particularly. Now again,
who has? Do a comparison.
I know.
Like it's easy to. I know you're
but
looking
you just
at
think they've missed the playoffs, so you're picking higher. They took Philip Zadina at 6 in 2018. He did not pan out. Mo Sider at 6 has been fine.
Phenomenal pick. Not even okay. Like, he's going to get Norris votes for a long time and did this year.
Lucas Raymond at 4, very good player.
He'll be fine. But
then kind of nothing beyond. They had 3 seconds, and none of those guys have played. Rams 2020, but
Edvinson's an intriguing talent. They got 2 good goalies in the system, and Kosa and Augustine.
Well, Kosa's gone.
Kosa they moved, but point being is like those were assets they could move because they were good draft picks.
That was quick how you pivoted on that.
Well, he drafted him. That was good.
Yeah. Not in the system. Anyway, Red Wings. Have you missed them?
Yes.
I think the league's better with them. I like Chicago and Detroit in there. And
it was game 82 a couple of years ago where they got screwed by a game going to overtime somewhere else that officially KO'd them. But I was excited to see that new building host a playoff game because those are great fans and it was going to be buzzing. Not the exact same level as Buffalo this year, but similar where it's like, shit, that's a great hockey market. It's going to be nutso if they get in, and they just haven't.
No, they have not. Despite the Yzerplan.
There's no Yzerplan now.
What would yours be? Warner-opoly.
No.
Warner-palooza?
I'm going to have to put some time and drinks into figuring it out.
Retography.
The retastrophe? No, that'd be bad. Okay.
That's at the end. That's what they would call it.
Hey, all you dusters. Thanks for watching. Apparently, I'm supposed to tell you to hit like and subscribe. You sound like a real cheese ball.
Cheese